Hey, welcome to Chicago. Here we are once again, Michigan Avenue. We got October the 20th, 2025. We got about 66 degrees, or maybe a little cooler. I think since the sun's going down, it's going to drop back into the 50s eventually. We'll stay low 60s. Might be a little wind here. I saw Jennifer Ushidi was walking there in Lincoln Park. Hopefully I didn't bombard her with too many questions there. Thanks. And yeah, we'll see if anybody joins in here. Thanks for tuning in here. We're crossing Water Street here. This is Lakeshore East. And we'll head up to the Chicago River. Yeah, it's noticeably windier. So welcome to the Windy City. Welcome to Chicago. There's the Citizen M. Look at that nice transition there at the Charlie Brown building. Hey, you get your Bears Visa card. Bears beat the New Orleans Saints there yesterday, 26-14. I guess the Lions played tonight. So hey, go Lions there, even though they're in the NFC North there. But we got a lot of people that root for the Lions that tune in from Michigan there. Hey, Central MT there. How you doing? Central Montana, I assume. Thanks for tuning in there. Heather B, how you doing there? West Green. What does MT stand for? Does it stand for Montana or something else? Grim Evil, how you doing? Hope you had a good weekend there. We did our best to film the Arts in the Dark there. Ernie got a better. I know people. We stayed until the South Shore Drill Team went down State Street there for the Arts in the Dark parade there on Saturday night, and Ernie got a better stream of it. Mine was cutting in and out, and so I pinned it to my TikTok, to my story there. If you click on my face there with the word bubble, it says South Shore Drill Team. If you click on it, you'll see Ernesto Chicago Nuggies rerun of the South Shore Drill Team there. So a few people asked me about it, so just check out Ernie's there. And you can also watch This Gemini. This Gemini got a good 40, very good resolution. He filmed it, I think. He filmed the whole parade and landscape there on YouTube. This Gemini. We saw This Gemini at the No Kings, and he's got some footage of that as well, but he's got some excellent footage of the Arts in the Dark parade there that Ernie and I, we got the staging area. That's where we saw those lowriders and people were going through the routines there. There's Trump Tower, Marine Towers. There's the Jewelers Building. This is Chicago, Illinois. We're about to cross the Chicago River. Streets and Sand there. I bet the Streets and Sand had a fun time cleaning up after all the garbage cans were sitting full after this weekend, but at least people tried to put the garbage. We saw some signs and stuff laying around. Here's the Chicago River there. Wes, how you doing? Jeff, Heather B. Yeah, Montana, good. Central MT there. It's good. Thanks for tuning in from Montana. There's Wrigley Building, Tribune Tower. This is Chicago, Illinois. So I think you know where we're at here. There's Chicago River. It's looking towards the lake. We saw the sunrise this morning. That was good. And yeah, we're crossing the DuSable Michigan Avenue Bridge here. Maybe Wednesday we'll get another bridge. There's some kayakers. There's still kayakers in the water. It's October the 20th. Water's getting colder. There's the Apple store. There's where Jean Baptiste Point DuSable. That is log cabin. 230 years ago, even more. Is that right? 76, 86, 96, 250 years ago. It's amazing. Hey Dolores, how you doing there? Soups, California's tuning in. Very nice. Cody Sharp, hello. Assad there. Yeah. Oh, his statue's gone. So what happened to the Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable statue? Does anybody know? There was that bust there. That's the first time I've seen. Maybe they're just cleaning it up there. Hopefully it wasn't defaced. There's the Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable statue. And here. It's temporary removed for conservation. It'll be back very soon. So the Jean-Baptiste Point DuSable statue is being for conservation there. That's good. They're going to clean it all up. It was so shocking to see it removed there. See, it's removed like the Columbus statue. Look, we could start a big rumor. We could start some false information on TikTok. We could say, oh, because wokeness was canceled, they removed the Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable statue, and we'll see it take off in Magloire, and they'll be like, oh, it's payback for the Columbus statue. We saw this morning. So Uber Eats is going to be at Aldi. I don't need to be advertising for Uber Eats or Aldi, but at lunchtime they had a, hey, that's nice. At lunchtime they had a promotion, and people were getting free goodie bag there. Hey, let's cross the street here. Here, look at this nice view. We get to the skyline of Chicago looking south from the roundabout here, North Michigan Avenue under the Wrigley building. And there's looking north on Michigan Avenue. We get this great view to these vintage skyscrapers, the Tribune Tower, the Gothic spires are 1925, the Intercontinental Hotel, which used to be the Medina Athletic Association, 1929. And then there's the Jewelers Building, Mather Tower, London House, 333 North Michigan, Wrigley Building, all these vintage skyscrapers. Some of the most beautiful buildings in the world. Look at that detailing there. They took the time to carve all that. And the blimps used to try to exit through a ladder. You had to enter that Dunyan Dome where the blimp was all. There's the Plaza of the Americas here. Here's the Tribune Tower. Go down to Billy Goat's, the world famous Billy Goat's. You go down these stairs. Go down to the lower levels of Lower Wacker, Lower Michigan there. Catch the bus down there. Hey, Michigan Avenue. Yeah, beautiful buildings there. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Nelios. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. Yeah, thanks for checking out this beautiful architecture. Makes my job easy. Film these. We get to walk by these every day, just like Bob Newhart, who used to work in this building, the Realtor building, the old 70s TV show. You might see that on MeTV in Chicagoland. Hey, thanks to everybody there. Nelios, Doreen, yeah, Krista. Good evening. How's everybody doing there? Yeah, at least no one stole it. No one stole the Jean-Baptiste statue. It's just being cleaned for repairs. There, look at that. So we'll head up Michigan Avenue. We'll probably cut over here a little bit. We were on Michigan Avenue this morning because I'm heading to work here. This is my commute home from work. Hell hath no fury like a sorcerer's stone. Medea there you can watch that. Favorite city. Well, thanks for the support there. Appreciate it. It's a hard city to love. Yeah, hit the like button. Yeah, if you like this content, just hit the thumbs up. You don't have to tap the screen like TikTok. I'm still posting reruns of TikTok, but we're streaming full time here on YouTube. So far, so good. We passed the 11,000 subscriber mark today. Thanks everybody for subscribing for free there. It's subscribing on YouTube. It's following on TikTok. We got 97,000 on TikTok, but I'm kind of frozen there because I'm kind of just hovering. And we're really growing here on YouTube, so we're going to put all our resources in YouTube, and we're going to still keep a presence on TikTok. My Instagram doesn't go anywhere, but I got some reruns there on Instagram. I refuse to go on X, Twitter, and I pretty much don't like Meta, Zuckerberg. I still hold a grudge against him for Cambridge Analytica. Does anybody know what happened with the Amazon Web Services shutdown? It affected Autodesk. It affected a lot of other things that use them for their web services, and their stock price went up today. It was not affected at all that they had a major breach of their web services. And it shows you that proves to me, like we needed any more evidence, that the stock market is completely divorced from reality. The stock market is completely positioned itself that the shutdown's the shutdown might be over now. They're voting on it right now, right? There's a vote conveniently held after the market closes. And is any news? Is the government shut down? Has the vote happened yet? If there's any news on it there? Hey, Hugo, No Kings. Yeah, we covered the No Kings protests there on Saturday. I got reruns. Ernie Chicago Nuggies was there. Check out his reruns. This Gemini was there. He's got some amazing footage of the whole thing. Jody GTV was there. Healthcare should be free was there. I think people this morning mistake. They didn't realize that's the name of a TikTok. He has over like 500,000 followers on TikTok. His name is Healthcare Should Be Free. That's his name. It's not me declaring that healthcare should be free. I'm declaring the name of his personal brand there. And he's been protesting at Broadview and up Michigan Avenue. He was at the No Kings. And even John Cusack was at the No Kings. You know, people making a stand here. And, you know, we'll see if there's any repercussions. We all got black spots next to our names. Hey, so lorries, they're working on lorries. Look how they added something. That's new. That story coming out of there, that's new construction. And we'll give you up to date if there's a new. Hey, look at those rims. Look at those gold rims there. Wow. Heading up Michigan Avenue in front of the Burberry here. We're just waiting for the left turns, which there's nobody else here. This is an amazing long left turn light because people rush to get on Ontario to go to the Kennedy Expressway, which is that way. And we'll continue on Michigan Avenue here. Trump's horrible meme. Yeah, how presidential is that? I don't even want to, because Darren Monroe had a good take on it, that influencer guy that he took the bait there. Essentially, we won't talk about it anymore, so you know what Grim Evil is referring to. The President of the United States on his personal social media feed retweeted a picture of himself dressed as a king flying a fighter jet jumping shit on the protesters. So we know what he thinks of us, and we know he's the president of all Americans, but we know he really wants to punish some Americans. And how often, and I guess people felt that way about Biden too, but it wasn't masked people doing it. There was there's some viral footage going around where there was a man getting out of his car and ICE drove by. They started chasing him. They pushed him to the ground. The security footage of the business captured it. And they roughed him up. He produced ID, proved he was a U.S. citizen. They just walked away with no apology. They physically assaulted a U.S. citizen, profiling him, thinking he looked like somebody they were looking for. No apology, masked U.S. citizens assaulting another American citizen. We demand an apology. And you might like this. We'll get all these people saying, go ICE. But hey, check out the video footage of that was Denver. I was wrong. It was in Denver. There was some counter protesters, and they stole his glasses, and he fell to the ground, or they tripped him. And then he was in the mob there. And you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Same with, that was in Denver. And I'm not condoning violence. The guy used an anti-gay slur. So you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes there. Made me embarrassed to be a white person, a white man, to see another white man acting that way. A grown man acting like he was in grade school, taunting people with gay slurs. And that's his First Amendment free speech right to do it, but if you make people angry doing it, you kind of instigated the situation just by being there. And we saw another thing where in Michigan, I think it was in the suburbs of Detroit, there was an All Kings protest. Biker gangs showed up to fight with the protesters and intimidate the protesters. So we're heading for a bad period here. This happened in the 1960s when like construction workers would fight with the hippies, and we're setting up for the same situation here. So we'll see how things calm down here. But largely peaceful protests. The No Kings were peaceful protests. I didn't hear of any property destruction or any people's worst fears. We were there covering it there. Here, we'll cross the street here. There's the one Chicago Tower. Hey, we got some street musicians here playing saxophone there. Excellent. Very nice. Yeah, No Kings. Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody, for supporting cities and small towns all across America. Isn't that great? I was encouraged by this weekend. We'll talk about it in a positive way, because I haven't given up on this country yet. Kid, man, how you doing there? Delios. Yeah, thanks for being with the hippies there, Subi. I'm a hippie. I'm a wannabe hippie, but I got to put my money where my mouth is this weekend and take a real stand there. That's good. Hey, look at the mums here. At Chicago, Ernie Chicago Nuggies was there, Ernesto, this Gemini, and Jody GTV, so we all got content. Is there anybody else we know that has some good content? The healthcare should be free. And I saw all those people filming from their high-rise towers showing how large the crowds were. It stretched 22 blocks in Chicago. And there's the Pace bus. Rocking the shoulder. We're rocking the suburbs. There's Chicago Avenue. Sorry, I'm not the news. I'm just a guy walking home from the street. If you think I'm the news, why would you get your news from me? Everything I say, you should verify, fact check, push against. I don't have all the answers. This is just my opinion. I am not an official news station. I'm going to give you my spin on things. I expect people not to agree with me, because no one agrees on anything. We're all living our own reality. I'm certainly living in my own reality, as people know. I've been trying to short the stock market for years, and I keep losing money doing it. So who's the crazy person? It's me. And you can feel better that I've lost a lot of money trying to do it. So you can feel superior and smug and safe in your 401ks there, because I made everybody else a bunch of money there. So here we'll head up past the water tower. How you doing? And there's the Chicago water tower there. How you doing? How you doing? Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sure he thinks I'm a tourist. He thinks I'm a tourist and not somebody that walks past here every day on my way to and from work there. He's just doing what he does there. There's the Great Water Tower, Chicago. There's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. That's 100 stories tall. There's the Loyola bus. Sister Jean, the Ramblers. Sister Jean, may she rest in peace there. Hey, look at that. Maine Society. I always learn something every time I watch Jennifer You Should Eat. She was walking home. She was talking about the Germania building. She taught me some new stuff about that I never knew. And because I missed it, she said the name of the fountain, the children's fountain. I didn't hear her say it because I was working. Well, I had her on the background. I think somebody was talking to me. And I asked her what the name of the fountain was, and she missed it. So I looked it up. It's called the Children's Fountain. We film that all the time. And so here we'll head down towards Rush Street here. And we'll go by the seminary. We'll go by Loyola here. And we'll see what's shaking up Rush Street here. Yeah, I'm a wannabe hippie too. I got a corporate job, so I'm a sellout. I wish I could be a true hippie and not be tied to corporate America, but we need a stock market to crash for that to happen. At least I do. You don't. I know no one else wants that. I'm the only person in the world that wants that. Yeah, you're right, Fernando. Trump is not going to live forever. I keep reminding people in MAGA world, I'm like, who's going to be your charismatic figurehead after it? It's not going to be Shady Vance. Shady Vance is not popular enough. And it's not going to be Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller couldn't get elected to be dog catcher. Look at these people that suck up the power. You know, 100% of Stephen Miller's power relies on Trump liking him. And so, and he's the exact worst type of person you want in government, because the power goes to his head. You see how he talks, Stephen Miller? He's a true authoritarian. And if he was in God forbid, if he was in World War II fighting for the Germans, who knows how much damage that guy could do to society. Here's the Lamborghini Gold Coast. Look at that. Look at this wonderful Lamborghini here. This is Joe Perillo. And yeah, there you get the SUV. They got Maseratis, Bugattis, Rolls Royce. See, I film capitalism and I talk about the social safety net. I'm a hypocrite, I know. But hey, it's eye candy. There's the John Hancock, the 900 North Michigan building there. Hey, what else? I'm missing all the comments there. Yeah. Vance would never be king. You know why? Trump is not a king. I have, like Gina, our good friend Gina here. We differ politically. That's great. We're still friends. I'm friends with Chicago Born Happy. We differ politically, but we're still friends. Adults realize that not everybody thinks politically. You have to have opposing viewpoints. Sometimes you learn stuff that way. But Gina says that Trump's not a king because if he was a king, we wouldn't have been able to have the protests. And she's right, because his power is still limited. We want to make sure there's never any kings, neither Vance, Trump, nor somebody from the left. You wouldn't want Obama to be a king. You wouldn't want Biden to be king. Why would you want Trump or J.D. Vance? It just shows your true Americans wouldn't want that. We need opposition parties. We probably need more parties. Problem is we got two parties that both of them have been bought and sold by corporate lobbyists, and we question whether the Supreme Court values corporations over the American citizens, because after Citizens United, that's what they told us. They value money more than, if you have more money, you have more free speech. And until that changes, I'm going to be critical of the Supreme Court. And it's not just Roe versus Wade. There's many other things that they break precedent with, these emergency decisions. Not every single thing in the world was meant to be decided by the Supreme Court. So which way do we want to go here? Yeah, let's cut over to Washington Square. Let's get a little west here. So is there any, hey, yeah, Trump's the king of Scotland. You think Scotland would stand for that? We saw the bagpiper. He was promoting the No Kings. And he shows true Scottish people, you know, going back to William Wallace and stuff. And I'm not faulting. I know Scotland's divided on this. They had a vote for it a few years ago, and they voted to stay with the UK. But we know all the wars fought between Scotland and England, between Ireland and England. Ireland fought a civil war, and then they had the Troubles, mainly over religion. Here, we'll head over to Washington Square here. So Dave called me an idiot. Thanks a lot, Dave, for calling me an idiot. Do you feel better that you called me an idiot? You think that somehow just doesn't resolve me to just keep on talking? Your opinion has no power over me. So good. Dave thinks I'm an idiot. Good. I got that going for me. You talk to your significant other that way? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, we got some more comments here. Digby, how you doing there? Yeah, why are we spending $40 billion to Argentina? That's a good point. All this talk about ending U.S. aid, and then of all countries we choose to bail out Argentina. You know what that is? That's Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent is, remember, Scott Bessent, who did he work for? He worked for George Soros. Look it up. This is not fake news. Scott Bessent, he worked for a lot of people's hedge funds, which included George Soros. Wall Street people, they'll go where the money is. And even though he's a government official, he's still guiding. You know, back in April when Trump unleashed the tariffs and the market sold off, they had a private meeting for major banks and shareholders where they did inside information under the Trump administration. And after that, the stock market has gone up in one direction. They all colluded and said, we're not going to sell. We're going to wait till these policies take effect because we can profit off the Trump administration. This is not fake news. This is how it works. And the same thing happened when Obama did not punish the banks after the Great Recession. And the Federal Reserve did quantitative easing. Now the banks are more profitable than ever. It's not Bank of America. Bank owes America. And don't forget that when Jamie Dimon comes begging again the next time they need a bailout on his knees, we won't do it again. And if they do, I will just remove myself from this planet. Do everybody a favor here. Here, Washington Square Park. Welcome to Washington Square, Bug Out Square. Studs Terkel talks about how during the Great Depression people would stand on their soapbox and give their stump speech. That's where the term stump speech comes from too. In the old days, the 1800s, the Johnny Appleseed days, early 1800s, they cut down so many trees in most of these towns. There would usually be a big stump of a big tree. And they would stand on the stump and give their stump speech on the stump of a tree. But here, Washington Square here. Yeah, people sitting out here walking the dogs. Look at the beautiful blue flowers. They got the fountain off. That's new. We'll head around. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, what a beautiful day. Washington Square, see people with the dogs. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah. So here, yeah, there's the one Chicago Tower. Hey, look at these dogs. This always puts me in a good mood. Sarah and Diana always like this. John James like this. Yeah, look at the dogs here. Oh, look. Very nice. The Lions, go Lions, go Lions. That's great. Yeah, very nice. How you doing, Sergeant? Hey, beautiful dogs here. How you doing? Yeah. See, they had the dog was wearing the Lions jersey, and the guy was wearing the Lions jersey. The Lions play tonight, and Monday Night Football there. Yeah. Now I just laugh when people like do pejoratives. It's so funny. Do you feel like, how helpless do you feel? Like your last resort is to like put some nasty comment there and hope it like changes the world? What we're doing here changes nothing. What I'm saying does nothing to change the world. I'm just editorializing, you know. I got to talk about something. I know probably a lot of people would wish I would just talk about puppies and architecture, the Newberry Library. But by me not talking about the events we're living through, it would actually be a disservice to the people being affected by it. That's what happened in the 30s. Too many people were silent. Too many in the 1930s, and when totalitarian governments rose out of the ashes of the Great Depression, which was a worldwide Great Depression, and it led to bad things. And thankfully, the economy is still somehow running on fumes. We all got pretty much employed. I'm thankful I got a job, but so I think Jennifer was here. She was walking home as well. She went up Clark Street, so I'm going to go further. I'll go up Clark Street a little bit, but I'll eventually cut over to Wells here, and maybe we'll see if we haven't seen the ducks in a while. We'll see if the ducks are out. Yeah, you're tuning in to hear my liberal lies. Hey, stay on. I'm going to tell some more. Maybe someone will stink in. You'll start believing my lies the longer you listen. Isn't this great? We got people that disagree with it, but they still tune in to watch. That's interesting. Hey, I like a debate. That's good. How you doing? So here's, we're all, use your illusion. We all lie to ourselves. I lie to myself. You lie to yourself too. But I like my lies. My lies are part of my identity. And they're part of Trump's identity too. He lies to himself too. He wins every golf tournament. He's like Mao floating down the Yellow River there. So here's the bike lane here. Just showing how this car's parked in the bike lane. There's the BMW service center here. There's the Aston Martin's there. That used to be Dave & Buster's. There's Honda. And we got a used car lot over here. Yeah, the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Lions play the Buccaneers here tonight on Monday Night Football. Thanks for reminding me. Here's Maple Street. Maple Street. See Mariana Park's right down that way. Hey, car dealerships, vehicle upgrade. I know you're not supposed to park in the bike lane, but that's why I was showing the car dealership. Of course, they're not going to respect the bike lane. To them, it's just a place to double park. Do you know jaywalking became illegal after cars became prevalent in the 20s? The car manufacturers worked with the American Automobile Association, which started as the Chicago Motor Club. And they made laws to make it illegal for pedestrians to be in the middle of the street. Because you see those old black and white silent movies, people would be out with the trolleys, and they would be out with the horse carriages out in the middle of the street just crossing anywhere, because there was no jaywalking laws until automobiles became so prevalent in the 1920s. And it was a safety issue. They had to do something. They tried to accommodate, but of course they aired too much on the rights of the cars, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. You can disagree with me, that's okay. You can put it in the comments there too. Thanks for tuning in there. Welcome to Chicago. Here's Elm Street and Clark. Yeah, we'll cross the street here. Here's the CVS. So we're almost down to Division, the Clark and Division stop on the red line. The subway is here, and the red line becomes elevated once it gets past North and Clybourne there. So there's Zelda or May's apartments here. We'll head over to South Street. Well, you can laugh there. So, Asa, you want to even make fun of Chicago even more? Chicago's Mayor Daley, he sold our parking meters, and now some Middle-Eastern country, probably the United Arab Emirates, gets all the profits from the Chicago parking meters because they sold the parking meters. It's still a contentious thing. People bring it up all the time. And now we have a nameless face, this international corporate conglomerate that siphons money out of Chicago, and it doesn't feed back into the city. And I still hold Mayor Daley II responsible for that, but it shows you another dumb decision that this city made. You're right. And that was bad Democratic leadership under Mayor Daley. It wasn't Brandon Johnson. It was Mayor Daley II, Richard M. Daley. His father was Richard J. Daley. They used to call him Pharaoh. Here's the and that wasn't a compliment. Here we'll cross the South Street. The bike's coming. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to get across where the bike's making the left here. Here comes the car here. Here's the South Church. I forgot to point out the name of that church there. The Oliver here. Here we'll head up to Division here, and we'll head over to Wells Street and see what's shaking on Wells Street. Thanks, Hugo. It's livable. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. You know, and the positive, negatives, everything. I've lived here for 26 years. It works for me. It doesn't mean it'll work for you. Cold winters, high taxes, high cost of living, high crime, little reward. No one's going to be impressed that you live in Chicago. But I still call it home. I love this city, warts and all. It's a hard city to love, but people that have been here their whole life know what I mean. And you take the good with the bad. You got to live somewhere. So here, let's head over this way. So we'll leave LaSalle Street. There's a subway exit there for the same Clark and Division line there, or station. Yeah, opinions are like assholes. We all got them, right, Alvin? And I got a big opinion, so I must have a big butthole. It's like Pee Wee Herman says to Simone. He says, "That's a big butt." Or he said, Simone, he goes, "I like your big butt." And he goes, "Oh, he said it wrong, you know." That was when they were at the dinosaurs there, Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure there, 1985. Simone is the woman he met at the restaurant when he picked up the ghost of Large Marge. And he goes, "Tell Large Marge sent you." And he walks in, and they're like, "That must have been her ghost." But then he lost his wallet because Jimmy Schmidt's character stole his wallet, and he had to work off his meal by washing the dishes with the hairnet, and that's where he met Simone, and she wanted to go to Paris. That's Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure there. Here we'll cross. This is Wells Street. Look, you used to be able to look back to the Sears Tower, but they built those buildings. Here's the Old Town Wine and Liquors. Now it's Cal's Corner. Aldi. So we saw they were doing the promotion. You can now get Uber Eats at Aldi. And I guess we'll see Coco driving around here, probably. Here we'll cross here. Wells Street, Chicago, Illinois here. Now we're going to go into Old Town, leaving the River North Gold Coast area, and we're heading through Old Town. I always go through this area because it's on my walk home from work. Here's the House of Glunts, 1888. Rabbit Hole, Animal Hospital, Bentley Pet and stuff. And there's the Happy Camper there. You go to the Rabbit Hole, there's the rabbit. The Rabbit Hole, there's one in Wrigleyville as well. Old Town, there's the wayfinding signage. There's Wells Street, north of Division. Old Town, Chicago. We got 60, low 60s. We got 556. We'll start looking for Halloween decorations here pretty soon. I might cut over towards Orleans or something, or I might cut over to Sedgwick. We'll see. Chicago Heights is way on the south side. I assume you're talking about Chicago Heights. It's a south suburb. Chicago Heights is about 20 miles south of us, or even more. It's still in Cook County, but it's at the south end. You can take the Metro Electric. It runs out of Millennium Station. It'll go down there, University Park, go to Calumet, or well, near Calumet City, Chicago Heights. Yeah, there's a lot of the outfit went down there because they want to get out of the city limits. Here's Declan's, just like Sopranos went to New Jersey. Here's Declan's here, Scott and Wells Street. That was New York. Families there. So here, I saw a comment there. I'm looking for a comment here. Let's see. Okay, so has ICE made it better? In my opinion, they're just spreading chaos and fear. And for the, 1,500, they've apprehended 1,500. To me, they're just another thing causing chaos and traffic accidents and people to be scared on the south and west side. Not only do people still fear the gangs, they still fear the crime, and it's including on the north side, all sides of the city, we still feel crime. It's obvious they're not going after the hardened criminals, they're not going after gang members, they're going after domestics, people that work in construction, people show up at Home Depot, people that are really no threat to society, but they got to meet a quota, so they have pressure to pick up, and that's why they're hassling U.S. citizens, because they're desperately looking, and I think the estimates, I think a lot of people are just not leaving their homes. And people are family members are buying groceries and stuff and checking on them. And U.S. citizens on their own volition are blowing whistles, as is their First Amendment right to notify. And so that's why the president is so desperate to call in the National Guard, because he needs cover, because ICE would be more effective in what they're doing if the National Guard would provide them cover and cover their flanks. The Chicago Police Department is limited in what they can do. And the Chicago Police Department has the right within Cook County to arrest ICE members if they apprehend people on their way to court or in courthouses, which is interesting. So we'll see if there's ever an incident where it's filmed where a Chicago police officer arrests an ICE agent. You'll see U.S. citizens cheering, and that should show you the sentiment in many areas of Chicago. We're not all united. There's some Chicagoans that are for what ICE is doing, and we see them in the comments here. You might be you. So thanks for tuning in here. We're going to be divided on this because we're a divided nation. We will always be a divided nation. Get used to it. If you don't like talking about politics, good luck. Good luck trying to shelter yourself from politics the rest of your life, as it affects your life and it affects the cost of everything you buy and sell. Here's the Village Cycle Center. Okay, you want me to call them migrants? I'll call them migrants. You feel better? Illegal migrants. There, you feel so much better that I called them illegal migrants. I personally feel no human being's illegal. At least every human being, whether they have a U.S. citizen or not, deserves basic rights to know who's arresting them, and they shouldn't be behind a mask. That's a cowardly way to arrest somebody. I will stand behind that. The police officers do not arrest you with masks. They have body cams because they work for the people. Are you okay with ICE hassling U.S. citizens? Answer me that. Are you okay with ICE profiling U.S. citizens and forcing and demanding them to prove citizens based on what they look like? Are you okay with that? Please put it in the comments if you're okay with that. We want to get you on record so we can remember this after this is over and say, why did you think that way? And you're allowed to think that way. I'm not saying you're not. I just want to know who you are, because I don't want to do business with you. And that's my right. And you have a right not to do business with me, but I'm sure you'll still watch my channel and troll me. So hey, we got that going. I feel like we're attached at the hip here. Here's this is Schiller and Wells. Schiller and Wells. Let's go see if the ducks are out. We haven't seen the ducks in a while. Nobody wants to talk about politics. Wouldn't you rather talk about the ducks? Remember when I said that? And now I got to take my own advice because no one wants to hear my opinions on any of this. I'm powerless to do anything. I'm a hostage just like everybody else. Hey, the Scout Warehouse Kitchen. We'll see when that opens there. It's already open. Hey, let's check this out. Okay, good. So remember Brandon would always hang out here sometimes. Maybe we'll see Brandon. And I came here 2 years ago for St. Patrick's Day, and we saw Jeremy. He was driving his yellow Bronco around. So the Scout Warehouse and Kitchen. Let's see if they let me in here. They guard me hard here. So it pretty much probably just looks like the poorhouse. How you doing? How you doing? I'm on YouTube. I remember when this was the poorhouse. I just want to show that you guys are open. It's called the Scout. Yes, we are. It's nice. You got a fireplace?
Yeah, we do.
When did you open?
It was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations. That's great. I'll promote the place when I go by because I'm glad. Thank you. That's great. So here it is, the Scout. Look, you can watch the Detroit game here tonight. That's good. So they've been open for 2 weeks here. Here's the Scout. It looks pretty much the same. I don't remember if they had that fireplace up there. St. Patrick's Day, we were up on that balcony 2 years ago, and it was a good time. But that's when it was a different place. Now it's called the Scout. Hey, what do you think about that? Hey, man, I'm getting a lot of comments here. Hey, so people are having a good discussion amongst yourselves, so thanks for everybody having a good discussion here. It's good that we're talking about this stuff because we shouldn't act like it's normal in America because it's not. Is the grocery store open? Let me see if the fresh market's open here. Let's see. Does anybody know if the fresh market's open there where Dom's used to be? I didn't notice it. I was talking a lot. Let's see, the fresh market. Here's Burton Place here. So hey, there's the Detroit game right there. Detroit and Buccaneers there. Fresh Market, Chicago, Old Town. There we go. Let's see if we've got any news here. The Fresh Market will replace former Dom's in Old Town. Good. Let's see if there's a grand opening. Opening a new store to see if it's opened yet. So I don't know if it's open yet. We'll eventually go back by there. So yeah, send Knights of Texas. There you go. Yeah, why are they only in Chicago? they're in Portland. They're in Washington D.C., New York City. They went to L.A. and caused a bunch of havoc. Why can't we all get along? Hey, is Rodney King tuning in? Oh, I didn't realize that. Thanks for tuning in there. Here's there we'll go past the VIG, the Red Orchid Theater, Old Town. Yeah, people. We'll see. There'll be probably people at Woody's there watching the Monday night game here. So here, yeah, they got the windows open, low 60s here. Yeah, everybody's sitting here at the VIG here. Buccaneers game's already started there Monday night. Hey, Kamahachi. Yeah, here we go. Woody's got some Halloween decorations here. Let's check them out here. So here's Woody's. There's a Bengals Ohio State bar, but I'm sure there's people there watching the Detroit game there. They got some skeletons there. Hey, they got the fence. There, they got a charred skeleton with the horns up there. It's some demon. Yeah, Tara, isn't it funny? It's almost like comical now. Yeah, I really feel like we've turned a corner after the No Kings there because, like, I don't get like angry by their comments now because it just seems like a little violin, like whining, you know. And these are some of the same people that for years called me a snowflake, and now even though they're guys in charge and they're getting what they want, they're still complaining because it's never enough. It never will be enough. And they don't like any opposing viewpoints. I'm used to people, my whole life somebody's been against my viewpoint because I'm on the left. I'm the minority view. I'm used to being the minority view. I was surprised when, you know, so many people seem to vote for the left because that wasn't my experience growing up. This is under Reagan and Bush, and you know, the two Bushes. Clinton was like a halfway Republican. I know he was a Democrat, but he was for the stock market, and he was for, you know, he was kind of okay with NAFTA, which that was George Bush's baby. He took and ran with it, you know, and NAFTA kind of backfired. Didn't work out like we thought it was because of the rise of China, and China produced the goods instead of Mexico, which don't think that didn't contribute to the migrant crisis. You got to know context, and you don't turn on the politics will turn on you. Ask Ralph Nader. So here, this used to be, we just crossed North Avenue, we're still in Old Town, we're by the Second City. Here's Utopian Tailgate, Professor Pizza here. You can go up on the roof there, we did that at Memorial Day. Second City, there's Cochran's. There used to be a bar down the alley there. Hey, let's see what Cochran's is doing here. It's always a car. Here, the Second City, see the four heads there? They think that's Mozart. This is Louis Sullivan. It used to be on the Garrick Theater. And they put it on the Second City after they tore it down. But here, let's check out the Cochran's here. Hey, they got the nice haunted alley here. Go to Cochran's here on Wells Street, just north of North. This is where they want to build a 36-story high-rise. But hey, they got some nice lights here, and WGN's here. So look, WGN's here. They're doing some movie nights. So I recognize this guy. How you doing? This guy's from WGN News here. How you doing? Thanks for, how you doing? Nice to see you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's good. I got a live shot. How you doing? That's good. Say, Channel 9 News here. Here's the film critics. They're in front of the Second City here. We're in Old Town here. You probably recognize this gentleman here. There they are. Wait, I was with Smigel. I know. See, I think I'm a paparazzi. They were like, is that a paparazzi? I'm going to sell it to the National Enquirer. Yeah, I resell all my footage. I'm a stringer. I just follow ambulances and police chases. Go to where the action is. Yeah, Wes, Chris, and Tara, how you doing there? SCTV, yeah. We get the Svengoolie. We'll get the. You ever watch JB TV? Remember JB TV? He used to show the music videos. He was an old hippie like me. JB TV he's still around. He used to go to Lollapalooza and stuff. He would always interview the bands when they came to Chicago and show their music videos. People could request music videos. It was on like 2060U, like Svengoolie. It was like public access TV. It was great. I think that's how he started, and he actually got on a real local network. They named a street in Beverly after George Wendt. Yeah, George Wendt used to hang out because George Wendt went through the Second City. Of course, George Wendt is Norm from Cheers. He just passed away earlier this year. Grew up in Beverly, South Shore, in the city. Or no, the south suburbs, southwest suburbs, not the South Shore. The southwest suburbs is Beverly. You can take the metro and get out there. Beverly's a beautiful neighborhood. J City Walking Girls filmed down there, streamed down there. I need to get down there. I just never get down there because the city's so vast and I don't have a car. That's my excuse. And you can rip me a new asshole. I'm used to it. Here's, okay, so, longtime friends and followers, you know, sometimes we check out the ducks. We're on the street here with the ducks. This is Eugenie, and just west of Wells Street, here's the beautiful Workman's cottages. We got the magic hour. We got some new Halloween decorations here. Let's check them out here. And let's see if the ducks are out. No guarantee. They're probably watching Monday Night Football. No, there's the ducks. And we'll check out these Halloween decorations afterwards. But hey, there they are. There's all four ducks. How you doing, ducks? You want to say hello to YouTube there? You having a good time? Who do you think's going to win the game tonight? The Lions or the Buccaneers there? What do you say? Look, they're all in formation there. All our ducks are in a row. And there is a turtle, but it's hard to see that. There's the turtle. See, there's the turtle. The turtle's hanging out there on the side. There's our friend the turtle there. See, it's going back underwater because it's noticed I was filming it. But ducks and turtles can coexist. Wake up Kevin here. I know he's watching the Lions game there. Grim Evil, there's your ducks here. Thanks for tuning in here. And see, look at the beautiful you know, look at the Halloween decorations here, the workman's cottages here, and then across the way here, we might hear the bells of St. Michael's at 6:15 here. Yeah, they had these last year. They got the hot pink skeletons there, all 4 of them lounging around. We got the tentacles coming out of the windows, and we're right next to the duck house here. Thanks for tuning in here. Old Town Chicago, Halloween time here, October the 20th. We got the ducks. Here's the ducks. Look how, here's the duck house here. So maybe we'll cut this out here and show you. We haven't done a duck house rerun in a while here. Oh, they always got the, yeah, Fiona Fibber, Philip Tubb. They got all the funny names there on the, there we go. Here's the little inflatables. They got the spider. What is that? But look at that stained glass. This is Old Town Chicago. We'll go up Curly Court. They got the lights on. Yeah, they got some really nice things hanging from the trees here. There, look, there's St. Michael's. So 6:14. So get ready. We might hear a short chime there from the bell tower. And here, Curly Court Private. Let's see if this thing's working. Come on, say something. Yeah, it's working. Good. So here, Curly Court. This is Old Town Chicago. This is Eugenie, Curly Court. We're looking for Halloween decorations, and we are, you know, we already scouted these out. This is on my way home from work, so. But hey, it's still nice to see it in the magic hour here. Yeah, they're helping me make more money. Controversial things boost engagement, and you notice how a lot of the videos that went viral this weekend, they're meant to push people's buttons. And there's the bells of St. Michael's. There's the bells of St. Michael's. I only heard one chime there, 6:15. What is that, an alien? No, it's just, I guess, I don't know what it is. But hey, I like look at that. Oh, they got some projection on the door there. Let's see, we'll wait till, there it comes. Look at that. They got a projection on the door. That's nice. Look how subtle that is. Then it goes away. Here's the, they got a nice projection here. This is Curly Court. This is Old Town. Oh, they got the head there. There, they got the spooky projections here. Oh, the cute little ghost. It can hit you in the head. Look at this thing. Wow. Hey, we got some skeletons. Hey, little skulls. There. That's a creepy looking skeleton there. Rotting flesh. There's Chicago, Illinois. This is called Old Town. We're on Curly Court there. Hey, they got the boneyard. They got all the zombies coming out here. And that's the Undertaker fell over. So the Undertaker, look, there's that creepy clown coming out of the garden department. That's a great place to put it. But the Undertaker's laying down on the job. So I guess the Undertaker had a heart attack. Here's the snake. They got the hands. Ah! Hey, Curly Court. Hey, you got the cat skeletons. You got the bird skeleton. Yeah, the nice little cat inflatables. Haunt you later. Check you later. Money. Yeah, money, money, money. We know that's what the Supreme Court likes. The Supreme Court likes money. Trump administration likes money. The Biden administration likes money too. Everybody likes money. Money, money, money talks. Money plays. Tariffs. Taxes. Inflation. Stock market. High price of housing. I guess gas prices are going down, but we'll see why they're going down. Here's wow, look at this porch. So here's now we're on St. Paul Street. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful Halloween decorations. I love this porch here. We always walk down through here, and there you got the alley there, and we'll head right over. And just out of respect, we'll keep moving on here. So out of respect for their great Halloween decorations. Here, look at the yeah, we know that. There's the dog. Hey, here's the big purple skeleton. We saw this before. Here, we're heading home from work here with the corner of St. Paul and North. But I still live in the city. I don't live in the suburbs. I pay city taxes. Brandon Johnson's my mayor, and I don't complain about him all the time, so cut me some slack. Here's hey, there's the purple house. Somebody told me they moved that. There's the pumpkin there. There's the spider with the abdomen. Oh, good. So this is new. So this house usually decorates really nicely for Halloween. Last few times we went through here, I didn't see anything, but they got something night to burn a fire there for fall. There, look at the skeletons. Hey, look at that skeleton. How you doing there? Yeah, you're on the light pole. Look at the nice pumpkins, the mums that hanging around here. But hey, they got a nice purple light. Yeah, they got a simple purple. Last year they had a bunch of inflatable like bubbles and stuff. But they look at that skeleton. Rock on there. It's doing the devil horns there. There's the cat. Oh, we got the silver head coming out here. What is that? That's a centipede. No, a scorpion. And yeah, there's my shadow went across it. There's the light. Yeah, you got some spiders there. Hey, Alumni Lanes. Oh, so this is such a beautiful house to show here, North Park. Both of these, we always show this one, the Old Menominee Boys and Girls Club here at Alumni Lanes. They got a nice, nice stained glass window. Or it's just the artwork. They got the mums going up there. This is a workman's cottage. This is one of the best examples of a workman's cottage here in Old Town. Wood frame, built quickly after the Great Chicago Fire. It goes to the early 1870s. And look how well it's maintained. It's got the nice Halloween simple display there. And what's the name of this street here? This is Willow. This is Willow in North Park. Look at the detail on the bottom of this window bay. So here, so we went down Willow. The guy has the nice skeleton sitting out there. We'll maybe check it out later this week. Let's head around. Maybe let's go up Orleans Street. Yeah, let's cut up Orleans Street. Mimi, how you doing there? Fear Factory, yeah. Yeah, Chicago's looking clean there. The wind's blowing all the leaves away. Delios. Fabulous houses. Yeah, come on back here. Come on down. Robert, Pittsburgh, thanks for tuning in there. Houses are pretty expensive. This is called the Old Town Triangle Historic District. You can look up the zip code for Lincoln Park, 60614. Just go to Zillow. You'll see the single family residential houses on private lots go anywhere from probably average around 2 to 3 million up to 10 to 30 million at the extreme high end, but the 30 million would be like some of the largest, most overpriced, high taxed properties in the city of Chicago. So you got to factor that into it too. And that's why I still rent, because a lot of these places, even if you could afford to own the real estate, the taxes are just as much or higher than my rent. And they got, so here, let's hey, welcome to the big bag city. Welcome to America. Why do people hate big cities like New York, Chicago, and LA? This is why. But Miami, Florida is expensive. Probably more expensive real estate in Miami, Florida, or certainly Miami Beach. Probably Santa Barbara. You can go to Newport, Rhode Island, and find much more expensive housing. The old money. Go to Hampton, at the end of Long Island there, the Hamptons. You go to Aspen, you'll find a lot more expensive real estate than this. Here's the Theodore Becking residence. This one was used in Wildcats. I guess Goldie Hawn had a movie. And then this is 1874, the Theodore. How you doing there? Yeah, what a beautiful workman's cottage here. People just walking down the street here. What a beautiful evening. Hey, they got some skeletons here. Let's check out the decorations. This is Orleans Street. And hey, how you doing there? There's a skeleton. See, they just got ground cover in their yard. See how easy that is to maintain there? Look at that Theodore Becking house residence. And then I don't know what that one's called. See how it's got its little trellis you go under there. There. Let's see if there's anything up Orleans Street. We haven't gone up here in a while. We went up Sedgwick. There's some nice. Oh, let's let's see. So there is some here. Let's see what these are. And then I saw something over there, so we might have to go over there. Just we'll double back. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll come back. Let me just film. Hey, look at, oh wow, that's like that Sia. Is that like Sia or something? I don't know. That's freaky. Oh, look how nice that looks. Look at that. Look how nice they got that lit up there. Wow. So this is on Menominee and Orleans Street, Old Town Triangle, adjacent to Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yeah, this is America. Everybody deserves a pursuit of happiness. It's in the Declaration of Independence, but it's not in the Constitution. And Thomas Jefferson, who wrote those words, owned slaves. I know, it's very complex. You know, was he thinking of all people or just all white rich people when he said that? You know, or men, right rich men from England. Here's look at the grave here. Here's what we were looking at. Yeah, they got the nice glowing skeleton there. How you doing there, skeleton? So we already went down Sedgwick. I want to see if there's any on Orleans here. We're going to check out Orleans Street as we head up into Lincoln Park. No, a lot of these places have alleys. See, look, I was just there. A lot of these streets have alleys. They have garages in the back. And so a lot of them have coach houses, little small apartments, or decks on top of. And then here's an example. This is not a workman's cottage. This is an example of one of the little log cabins they built after the Great Chicago Fire. This probably dates to 1871, 1872. To get through that winter after the Great Chicago Fire, they built these little one room with an attic so they could heat it. It was, you know, and it got them through the winter. And this is one that they kept and they built on the front of it, right? Because their first house was destroyed. You see how there's an alley there? There's garages, and these are 125 long, 125 feet long by 25 feet Chicago lots. I think that's what they are. Don't quote me on it. Old Town, the lots are a little different because Old Town was just outside the city limits before the city annexed it, and that's why the street grid is a little different here in areas. And they got these little narrow streets which are different, and that's why it's called Old Town. Yeah, the side mirrors are not easy on your, or the narrow streets are not easy on your side mirrors. Believe me, I used to live in Cincinnati when I went to college, and you know, Cincinnati's pretty hilly, just like not as hilly as San Francisco, but Pittsburgh is hilly and Cincinnati's hilly, and so is San Francisco. And Cincinnati has many narrow one-way streets. You have to park on a hill, and Cincinnati's notorious for being in that, just like Tennessee being in the Kentucky being in the freezing rain belt, where you get, instead of getting snow or ice or wind or rain, you get freezing rain. And many times I parked my father's car when I was going to college there, and yeah, you come out and there'd be a scrape. Somebody was bouncing from one side of the street to the other. Couldn't control the car. It slipped down into the lowest part there. Look at this beautiful housing here. This is Orleans Street. We're checking out Halloween decorations here. Heading home from work here. What time we got? 6:27. Yeah, everybody's watching Monday Night Football there. You can watch the Detroit Lions and the Buccaneers there. Is there any updates on the scores there? I know we lost Kevin. Hey, Kelly, how you doing there? Liverpool's tuning in. Hey, thanks for tuning in from Liverpool, and everybody else tuning in from areas outside the United States. I appreciate it. We have a good international audience here on YouTube. People tune in from literally all continents of the globe. Somebody was turning in from Mars this morning, or at least so they said, and I believe them, because I believe everything I see on the internet, except TikTok. Here's True Social. It's got truth in the name. It must be true. True Lies. Yeah, here's Oh, look at these! Look at that alien. That's an alien. That's an alien screaming there. That's freaky. Yeah, look at that Halloween decorations here, Orleans Street. Wow, look at these beautiful facades here. Yeah, they got some. That's what I got. I just got some purple, orange, and green lights, and then I can just leave them up for Christmas and all the way to Mardi Gras. They'll work for Mardi Gras because they're purple, orange, and green. It's perfect. And the orange almost looks red, so it'll work for Christmas. I'll just leave them up. I don't have to worry about their inside, so I don't have to worry about the freeze-thaw cycles messing with the lights. Yeah, we're in the wealthy area. Everybody wants me to go to O Block. Everybody wants me to go to, you know, where ICE is patrolling the street. They might be here for all we know, but, you know, maybe they'll come tackle me. I'm not making light of it. This has really happened to real people. It happened to Ernie Chicago Nuggies, and we went to meetings where people gave testimonials. We met the man that was in the South Shore raid. He was in the one where they took all the babies out and separated them from their mothers, and that was an African American community on the south side, and they did it to get some. There was a few, I guess, Venezuelan nationals in there, but they kicked out all the Americans too and made them go outside. At least they did in summer. I hope they don't do it in the middle of the winter when the kids don't have any clothes on. Here's hey, there's the bells of St. Michael's there. So I know there's some Halloween decorations over here, so we'll go here. We saw them last week, but I just know there's some Halloween decorations here, so we'll head over to Sedgwick. And Church of the Three Crosses here. Yeah, the Home Alone house is in the North Shore suburbs. It's about 20 miles north of me. And I'm not going up there tonight. I'm going home. I'm going to watch this into this football game here. There you get the little free library. Yeah, there's this park here. We saw some string quartet play here one time. This is Wisconsin Street at Sedgwick, Lincoln Park, Chicago. How you doing here? 631. Wow. Kelly, really? That's amazing. See, that's why I was at the No Kings there. I don't like this going on here. Here's the look at the nice Halloween decorations here. We saw this last week. This is on Sedgwick Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Look at the nice spiders there. I'm trying to zoom in. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Yeah, we'll cross the street after this car. There we go. There's another one with the abdomen there. Here, we'll head around here. Across the street, because I know they got these. There's some nice decorations up here on Sedgwick. First YouTube live. Leslie, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's harder to live stream on YouTube. The app is resolution issues, and that's why most of the live streamers are on YouTube or TikTok or Twitch. I know Dan switched to Twitch. Twitch is more for the video game universe, but I know it could work for this as well, as can other platforms. People use Instagram. We have Instagram as a backup if we need to, but I'm primarily live streaming on YouTube now. We do reruns to TikTok because we got 97,000 on TikTok, and some people still have subscriptions even though the money's not. Listen to this. People are paying for subscriptions to me or TikTok, but the money's not getting to me because they kicked me out of the creator fund. So I told people to stop subscribing to me on TikTok, which I appreciate, and hopefully after a month maybe I'll get the money. I don't know. And you know, you can support me on YouTube if you want. If you really like me, you can go to PayPal and we can cut out the middleman. Not that I'm asking for money, but if people feel generous, if you feel like supporting like PBS, you know, this is a pledge drive, which I don't do. I'll do this even if I lose money because I'm walking anyway. I've been walking, talking, listening to audiobooks for 26 years walking to work. I'm gonna walk till I drop here. Here, look at the nice. Wow, look at that. We got skeletons, and there's a kid in the window, so I can't film the Halloween decorations because there's a kid that lives there, And but there's wonderful Halloween decorations right there. And I'm glad I saw that because I don't want to be accused of. And I just want to film the Halloween decorations, which are in public view here. We already filmed them last week, so we can cut out the rerun from last week. But you saw that. And here, let's let's head up to Armitage, Lincoln, and it could happen. I mean, you know, one teenager tried to moon me once, and I'm like, you know, I could like lose my account. Like, I don't want to see like Lady Godiva on a horse down the street. You know, I felt bad even filming the paintings at the Old Town Ale House because there was a nude painting of Sarah Palin there in the Old Town Ale House, and I made sure it was blurry before I posted it. Here's but it was a painting. It was a work of art. Here, let's cross Sedgwick. Here's a six-way intersection of Sedgwick, Armitage, and Lincoln. This is Lincoln. There's River Shannon. That's on Hudson Street, and we'll wait to cross the street here. 13 hours. Yeah, thanks, Sue B. Thanks for, yeah. I've only been streaming since, like, I didn't leave the office until like 5:20. So we've been streaming over an hour because I went to work downtown. And then I worked from home this morning. There's a Bronco. So here we're waiting to cross the link. Here's this new construction. Here's this new construction on Armitage at Sedgwick. This used to be the CVS. This will be housing above, and they got the, hopefully there'll be another CVS at the bottom there. I don't know. Or something else. Some store. Here, let's head up Sedgwick Street here. Yeah, if we cross over here, I know there's some decorations. Here, we'll go up. Yeah, Trump's got his hand in the cookie jar. But he knows his supporters will look the other way because they expect him to do that. We're all selective in our corruption. Just look at the how quickly people want to change the subject about the $50,000 to the Texas official that was trying to be bribed. They got it on film. Look at the people he's pardoned. You know, you want to do business with George Santos there, go ahead. You know, it'd be funny if he run. It's funny if like him and Blagojevich run for political office again, and it doesn't matter if you have felonies. You know, no one cares. What's the point? You know, no. Let's free Leonard Peltier and let's run him for public office there. Why don't he pardon Leonard Peltier? Because he's Native American. See, hopefully Lambie T's listening. Here's the look at the Halloween decorations here. Look at the Halloween decorations here on Sedgwick Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Hey, we got the skeleton. They got the big skeleton. They got all these little ghosts and stuff. Look at the nice display there. And they're hanging around there. Yeah, I like it. Sedgwick Street here. Lincoln Park, Chicago. Excellent. End of the first quarter, 7-0 Lions. Grim Evil, thanks for the score update. Hey, Kevin will be happy. Go Lions there. See, I'll root for an NFC North rival as long as they're not playing the Bears and as long as they're not Green Bay. But I do make exceptions, you know. Biden did some, I forget what it's called. That's a good joke. Biden forgot too. Okay, so the oldest houses in this area, there's only 3 houses that I know of that survived the Great Chicago Fire in this area of Chicago, which was 1871. So only 3 houses are older than 1871, and all 3 of those were built between 1869 and 1871. The water tower was built in 1869. It survived the Great Chicago Fire. But every single one of these houses, starting with the I probably showed you one of the oldest ones. That was that little bitty coach house. It was a little one room with an attic above it on the back alley. That was probably built in 1871, 1872. The Theodore Becking residence was built in 1874. We just showed that earlier in this live. You can rewind it. Those are the oldest ones in Old Town that are built after the Great Chicago Fire. The Workman's cottages. They built better ones after they started rebuilding 1872 to 1874. And then by the time they got to the 1880s, the city of Chicago increased its building code to require fireproof construction for all new residential construction throughout the city as much as possible. And I guess there were exceptions, depending, but most of the buildings built between the mid 1880s and 1929 were brick, fireproof construction with concrete walls. Steel frame construction was perfected during that time, and some of the most beautiful, well-built, architecturally significant buildings in the city of Chicago were built in that period because it was a boom time. This is when the city was growing. So it was the fastest growing city on the earth at one time, and at one time Chicago was like the 5th largest city in the world, up there with New York, London, and like Tokyo. I mean, seriously, I mean, and other cities have since surpassed it because we essentially grew really fast between the Great Chicago Fire and 1929, and then that really set Chicago back. The peak population was in the 1950s when people were crowded in the city after World War II, and then people went out to the suburbs. There was white flight, and the metropolitan population continued to grow, but the city stagnated and dwindled. People moved out of the city. Large areas of the city became blighted, and there was urban renewal, and then they tore down the urban renewal houses, and people moved out to the suburbs after that used to live in public housing, and the city is kind of hovering at 2.6, 2.7, but we're not losing population, but we're really not gaining population either. But more people than ever live in the downtown central business district. This area used to be more densely populated when people had larger families and people were living more closely together. But the population density is not as great because wealthy people have fewer kids and they have these big giant houses to live in. And some of them rent them out. Here's the psychedelic Barbie house. We always show it here, this beautiful porch here, this Victorian here on Sedgwick Street. It's got the nice John Kearney statues on the side, how it lights up the wraparound porch there. There's the John Kearney statues there. This is why I call it the psychedelic Barbie house. It has the beautiful psychedelic colors there lighting up the pastel cornice there. And look at that, the magic hour. You got the fence. We'll get up here on the side here. We'll see if we can film it. Hey, perfect for Halloween. See, it looks like this all winter, and they light it up like this in the summer. I just usually don't go by it when it's dark in the summertime. There's the psychedelic Barbie house here. Happy Halloween there. So this is on Sedgwick Street. We're just south of Webster, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Sedgwick Street. This is the 2200 block. And there's a nice Halloween display. We'll cross Webster. St. Valentine's Day Massacre was right over there on Clark Street. We got videos about that. Message me if you want to hear the spiel, but you'll hear it soon enough as long as you watch Sedgwick and Webster. Yeah, there's some nice. Let's check out. Well, I'll wait till these cars go. They don't have to stop here. It's always, you feel like you're risking your life every time I cross the street. But here, we filmed this before. I just want to see if they have anything else new here. This is Webster Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We're just west of Sedgwick, and they got some nice Halloween decorations over here. And we'll film it here. People walking the dog here. Walking the dog, walking the dog. Yeah, move on. MoveOn.org. Hey, look at this garden department's under the stoops here. So you see where the green light is? We'll go here and then we'll turn around. We're just going to go film Halloween decorations like the cats here. Yeah, we got the skeletons riding the dogs there. Yeah, this jester. It's the jester, yeah. And then you got the animatronics there. There it is. Do-do-do. Do-do-do.
Halloween always puts me in a frantic mood. I never know what crazy thing I'm going to do.
There you go. There's the gesture here. We already filmed this here. We got a rerun of this. This is the nice house here on
We are going to have so
Webster
much
Street.
fun playing evil characters, and we've only begun. I have so many to choose, over a ton, but having trouble deciding which one. Every mask is horrific, even worse than the last. The performance top-notch and never outclassed. I'll strip away your courage until you have none, and soak up your terror when I am done. Consider yourself warned from my mirthful pun, that if you value your life, don't walk away, run!
It goes on and on and on. So hey, it's Webster Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We'll head through here. See, we got alleys. People's got garages. They access off the alleys here. We'll head back to Sedgwick Street, and we'll go up to Clark Street, and then I'll head home here. Nah, isn't that a nice house? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Here, I'm looking something up on my other phone here just because I got to commit this to memory. I always forget this. Yeah, I'm looking something up here. Hold on a second. I'm using the other phone here, so bear with me 1 second. How's everybody doing here? Welcome to Chicago. We're in Lincoln Park here. We're heading home from work here. Oh, come on. I'm like an old guy here arguing with my phone here. There, Cobden. There we go. There we go. Historical landmark here. There we go. So show more. Charles Sumner Frost. Why can I not ever remember that? Every time I go past the Cobden building, I want to remember Charles Sumner Frost, not the poet. That's a different guy. He was an architect. Firm Cobb and Frost. So I always remember the Cobb part because of the Cobden, but yeah, the historic 1892 building. We're going to go by it here, and Charles Sumner Frost. Okay, good. So there's the Francis Parker School. This is Grant Street. There used to be a Grant Hospital here. They call this Dad's Park. Here's Clark Street. Clark Street's a famous street in Chicago. You read Jack Kerouac's On the Road, he talks about Clark Street, which was much more seedy back then, including back when Al Capone and the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Bugs Moran ran the north side after Dean O'Banion and Vincent Drucci and Jaime Weiss. And if you read the book, The Man with the Golden Arm, they talk about Clark Street and the junkies, and that was in the 50s, you know, the 1950s or 40s, you know, and so a lot of old blues joints used to be along Clark Street. They moved over to Halstead, especially closer to the downtown, and that became River North, and that whole area changed. There used to be a commercial, old rundown strip along where Carl Sandburg Village is now. And that's why those old theaters and stuff are left. Charles Sumner Frost. There we go. So here's the 22 Clark bus heading south. Here we're crossing Belden to Clark Street. There's the Cobden building. This Charles Sumner Frost was the architect. He worked for Cobb and Frost. That's why they called it the Cobden building in 1892. And we, every once in a while, some people from the top floor will wave to us. They watch both on TikTok and YouTube. When I used to stream on TikTok, I told them to watch me on YouTube. Hopefully they'll say hello. This is Clark Street. We're up by the Reeby Moving and Storage. That's usually where we start and end our lives. Holtzman's Jewelers is in the Charles Sumner Frost designed Cobden building here, 1892. But hey, I'm gonna head home, watch the end of this Detroit Buccaneers game. Thanks, Grim Evil and everybody, for keeping me up to date on the score. Thanks to all the mods. You guys are great. Thanks for letting the comments fly. We know we got a lot of crazy interaction here, but it's par for the course, especially these times we're going through here. Thanks everybody for putting up with my coverage here, And I know people have different opinions than mine. Thanks for tuning in and letting me editorialize. And people are going to react to what I say. No matter what I say, if I don't say it, people are still going to bring it up in the comments because we all do it. And here's the Egyptian revival. This is the Reby Moving and Storage here. This goes back to 1921, 1922. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Egyptian revival. They was all the rage after they rediscovered King Tut's tomb there in Egypt. And we copy styles, appropriate them. That's what they did with the Medina Temple Auditorium and the Medina Athletic Building there. Hey, thanks Ed Music. Thanks Emily, Wes, Smith, Karen. Thanks everybody for Nelios, Timothy, August, Augusta. Yeah, go Ravens. There you go. There's Big Apple Finer Foods. Let's see if they're playing pickleball. We'll end it at the pickleball place here. So we'll be back on tomorrow. We'll head back downtown. Hopefully at lunchtime I'll walk through the River Walk or the Bean or something. We haven't seen that in a while. Actually, we saw the Bean on Saturday, but no one remembers it because I was covering the No Kings there. There's the Big Apple, Finer Foods, Anatolia, Clark Street, just south of Fullerton. And we'll go by where the Urban Outfitters used to be. Now it's a pickleball place. We'll see if people are playing pickleball. So in the wintertime, when you're jonesing for stuff to do and it's all cold and nasty and you're like, man, I wish I could play pickleball, you can come to, they got these all over the city here. You can go indoors. They got different, this is one in Lincoln Park. They got a pickleball. I'm sure you could join leagues there. You don't need a tall ceiling there to play pickleball. It's a great adaptive use from a commercial space we don't longer need. Here's the Clark Street Pickleball here. Look at that, Clark Street Pickleball, very nice. And you can check them out here. See, they got couches there. Play some pickleball. So hey, Clark and Fullerton, New Balance. Have a good night, everybody from Chicago. We'll see you soon. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.